Many moons ago, 7 months, in fact, we did a podcast about Norway.
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember, but we covered the subject of the flood of immigration and how it has changed in that country.
No.
Just like Sweden, which was already filled with no-go areas for police around Stockholm, Copenhagen in Denmark, and on Oslo, which had and still has its problems
Yeah.
with gang rule by the foreigners. And that's what this podcast was about.
Yes.
We also said that youngsters were being contracted by the gangs to do assassinations because in Denmark,
Mm.
specifically, nobody under the age of 14 years of age can be arrested and charged of any crime.
Yeah.
Yes, folks, even murder. And so the gangs are hiring these youngsters. Well, it seems that other gangs of other European countries are following suit. Hiring youth soldiers to do their dirty work because they know they will be immune from any repercussion.
Mm.
Catherine de Boll, former executive director of the EU's police agency Europol, told ABC News recently, ABC News of the
Mm.
US, it's like a cheap build your own contract killer scheme. And the problem of violence as a service is now occurring on an industrial scale. This is in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, with the use of AI, with the new technology, and with the fact that so many youngsters are on digital platforms, it's heaven for the criminal networks. And this is really worrying us.
Mm.
Criminal networks have no borders, and the digital environment is borderless as well.
Yeah.
So, some EU officials, and this lady is ex Europol, by the way,
Yeah.
some European EU officials have warned that violence as a service is right. She said other officials say it is simply a computer rage twist. They're sort of burying their head in the sand.
Yeah.
Gangs look for vulnerable youngsters on gaming sites and messaging apps from as young as 13 years of age. The result is child foot soldiers hired as hitmen. The problem is so grave that Europol set up a working group sometime last year to combat the problem. We were on about this last year
Yeah.
when it was still under wraps.
Mm.
Right? Um, it specifically targets the hiring of youngsters for violence as a service, as a serious organized crime. This working group has
Mm.
decided that hiring youngsters for violence as a service is a serious organized crime. Really?
Mm.
The joys of a multicultural society on the scale that is being carried out.
Well,
Now,
yes.
sorry to conclude.
Yeah.
Um, we covered this when it was still in the bud.
Mm.
It was just in Scandinavia, when it was just in the countries that had no idea how to tackle
Mm.
bad people, because
Yeah.
Denmark, Norway, Sweden, they've always been very innocent sort of countries where everybody is nice.
Yes. Yes.
Not like mainland Europe down and
Gonna
southern
say.
Europe
Well,
where the
we.
map and all this.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we could dip in the early days. Now it's spread like a big sore to the rest of the EU, and only now, mainstream media is covering it, and it's American mainstream media. The
Yeah.
mainstream media in Europe is keeping stum because
Well.
it just doesn't look very good. Sorry,
Yeah. No. No. No.
rambling.
No. No. I hear what you're saying. I mean, obviously, when we're talking about digital networks, as it were, um, that's it's big news in the UK at the moment, with the government trying to push through no one under the age of 16 will be able to access social media platforms. Not that they are the big problem. And I'd speak to youngsters all the time anyway about it. And yeah, maybe my daughter, who's a younger person, but she's out there, that bracket, yeah, has said to me that there is one called Discourse, which is used by a lot of gamers, but that's used by other things as well. Like you said, we have obviously other types of people looking for other things that go on that. But yes, I could see how maybe that kind of thing could be used. Um, I mean, gangs always use networking right at the back. If we go back to the 60s, if we go back to the 30s, they've always used younger people to do things. And in Northern Ireland as well, they used to use younger people for intel, not necessarily to carry out the final acts, but used to tell them, keep an eye on what's thing. Because a kid running around in a corner doing something doesn't draw suspicion like an adult might would be. They don't look out of place. Um, it's Yeah, I mean, if they're only just woken up, it's like you said, I was just going through these so-called socialist countries, which to actually accuse Norway, Sweden, and other countries and Scandinavian of being socialist is a bit wrong, actually, because our whole social structure is actually very, very capitalist at the top. Um, but yes, they always sort of promoted open freedoms and everything else. Yeah, and we're all for freedom. Yeah, the little darlings can't do anything wrong, and yeah, the allowing people in sweet love and harmony as well, which is what the debate in the UK is all about now. It's nothing to do with um yeah, being racist or anything. It's literally looking at what you're allowing in. And don't forget, in the UK, we've got our own equivalent problem of this called county lines. Yeah, where they're going across and you get the gangs going across county lines, the networking that's going on there. Um, how do you tackle it? Well, obviously, UK are now talking about not allowing younger people onto these social networks where things could be arranged. I do not believe um, younger people aren't using probably social media in the way that we actually think they are. Um, it is true they're possibly contacting each other with WhatsApps. I don't think they're using Instagram to do organized crime on, because when you put a message on Instagram,
No, they're using the gaming sites. It was
yeah,
quite explicit.
okay, Discourse and others like that, yeah, and Steam
And
and
this discourse you were on about, there was the very famous "Where We Go On, We Go On," which I mistook for the other day
yeah,
on another podcast, which was I forget the name of the movement,
mm,
where it was very subversive, a subversive movement. Where we go on, we go
mm,
on. And yeah, it, it's the gaming sites. It's
mm.
the where you think that the young kids should just be interested in gaming.
Well, they probably are initially, and then they can start getting offered money
Yeah, well,
to
there you are. There you
yeah,
are. And depends on what the code's like. I mean, you start going on the subworld and going on the black internet, the black internet,
yeah,
in
dark web,
dark internet. Sorry.
dark web, yes,
That's where you start to really get down deep and dirty.
mm, yeah, which none of us really understand because we've never been on it. But yeah,
I have,
have
I
you?
have, yeah, I have to look at it. Yeah.
Never had the inclination to do it myself. Um, yeah, um, yeah, it's we're living in a very different world, and yes, maybe law enforcement. I'm going to put law enforcement, not governments and people like this, because the minute you start getting politicians directly involved in law enforcement, they're going to use it for their own ends as well, be it unorganized crime or organized crime or whatever. Um, yeah, I mean, okay, it's being looked at. Um, there is evidently a problem, and I mean, it depends. I'd be very interested in a couple of things. Obviously, you said over 13, which is about the age that um, kids will be allowed onto discourse, really, officially. There are younger on there. And also, like you say, the vulnerability. They will pick up vulnerable youngsters. Maybe kids who are kids of immigrants who may not have or may not be directly benefiting from benefits, or may feel a bit out of place in the society they've been brought into.
I don't think the ethnicity has anything to do with it.
Yeah, well, I've just
I,
thrown it out
I
there.
just
Yeah,
think
that's what.
it's like it's any youngster
Mm,
who thinks that by doing what these people want them to do, giving them a £50 note in hand to
yeah,
do it,
yeah,
knowing that they're going to be safe, they won't get prosecuted by it,
yeah,
especially
yeah.
in Denmark.
I mean, it's a form of grooming in a way. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Um,
yeah, and they'll become famous within that sort of world.
yeah. Well, it's we had the same problem in Brazil. It's easy money. Yeah, that kind of thing. On the face of it, seems like easy money.
Yeah,
Um, if you can live with yourself or the conscience, and that's where morality has left 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 the building, as it were, to be
yeah.
replaced by this. Okay, but as I said years ago, in the 1930s, gangs were using youngsters for info to go and watch things, um, and paying them however they paid them, or doing it for members of the family even. But it is a
Too short about that, Mark. But anyway, go on.
well for members of the family. I don't know. I mean,
No. I'm talking about because I'm talking about hiring youngsters to do the dirties.
well, no, I didn't say that they did the absolute the end product, the execution of the execution. I'm saying they were used for intel to watch what's going on, where the police were, to inform, give a warning if the police
But
were
that might
coming.
have been the Nazis. That might have been the Nazis in Germany. But
No, it's gangs as well, man. Gangs as well, and they do it here. So in the favelas. So um, oh yeah, I mean, the Nazis had a whole different mindset. They corrupted the youngsters, well, in a very similar way. Funny enough, at the schools, um, where they were indoctrinated to tell on their
yeah.
parents, I think.
So anyway, get back to the plot. What's the solution?
Well, okay, we've been talking about restriction of. I mean, if you're saying that they're using digital media to contact each other, um, I mean, uh, yeah, we're having a big debate about that in the UK at the moment, which I don't think is a solution to what the government are trying to do. And I know the government in the UK are trying to do it, so they have open access to all our data, and if we say anything anything detrimental about the government, it will be flagged up. Um, but yes, stopping youngsters. Well, probably encouraging youngsters not to go that way to begin with. Now, whether that's through social programs, not programming, social programs. Um, you visit schools. Um, when I was growing up, we used to have a regular policeman used to come around our schools and things. Um,
I, I think that's the wrong way about it. I think that's taking a really long journey
mm,
to go up along a street, a
yeah.
straight street. You're sort of going around the houses to get to the end of the street.
Mm,
I think what you need to do is simply, just as if a dog bites somebody, the owner is responsible.
mm,
That if your kids up to a certain age, up until 16, do something illegal,
mm.
the parents are responsible. Because
Well,
I'll
yeah.
tell you one thing, if that happens, and some parents are getting sent to prison because of their kids doing something ridiculous,
Mm.
the kids will stop because the parents will make sure they stop.
Well, okay, but you see, the trouble is these progressive governments took away the ability of parents and others, teachers as well, to a point in schools to
Well, they have to give it back. Give it
discipline
back.
the children. Yeah. So
Well, you
there
give it
has
back.
to there has to be a go away, and then we have to get away from this progressive thing. Okay, I'm not saying mass. I mean, yeah, we get sad cases where children are beaten to death. Um, but yeah, I mean, okay, the discipline of a child, take away a child's freedom. And I was talking this morning, funny enough, to a younger person about how sort of the related subject on this, and withdrawing internet access or rights, um, or taking a mobile phone away from a kid, even. Yeah. Why does a kid need a mobile phone in their room at night? Why does a kid need a mobile phone at school time as well? But yeah, that's been debated here. Um, where they should be in a safe environment. Um, this kind of thing of not being connected. Yeah, we didn't grow up with mobile phones, and I'm not saying get away from modern world, but yes, giving back, like you say, responsibility to the parents. But if you're going to make the parents responsible, you've got to allow them to actually carry out their responsibilities.
Well,
Uh,
I'm not sure that flogging your children
no,
is
I'm not saying it
acting
is.
as a
I,
responsibility.
I said that's
However,
how. Yeah,
what I would suggest is that a parent with the kids, give me a child until it's 3, and I'll show you the man.
yeah,
You, if the parent doesn't care about the kids at
yeah,
an early age,
yeah.
they never will.
Mm,
So if a kid grows up to be a bad one, parent's responsibility. It's simple as that. You bring the child into the world, then you're responsible for that child until they're 18 years of age.
well, yeah, yeah,
And so if you it's a difference between the carrot and the stick.
mm.
You don't always rule back just by the stick.
No,
You've
no,
got to rule by the carrot. Well, right.
yeah,
So there you are. So you treat a child with the respect that it deserves,
mm,
with it needs. Give it all the help, all the social um, help that it needs
mm,
in terms of how to behave in public.
mm,
Teach them right from wrong,
yeah,
and then you can't go wrong. I mean, that's what I had to do with my kids.
yes, okay, you
I'm
did.
sure you did the same with yours.
Well, yeah, I mean, well,
Oh, there you are. There you are.
you
It's
know,
not difficult. It isn't
no,
rocket science.
okay, but what I'm saying is governments respectively across Europe, particularly, have taken away the abilities of children to do things. School teachers were always encouraged to report problems that may not exist. Um, and where, yeah, no, yes, I mean, it's okay to say, I mean, okay, any kid can go off the rails at some point for whatever thing. Okay, you can over discipline and have a kid that rebels. All kids are going to rebel. I mean, this is the problem that they're having now in Australia, where they're trying to stop the kids accessing all the digital platforms, and they're finding a ways around it. It's a challenge then at that point. Um, now,
You
okay,
just take the plug off them, for goodness sake.
that's what I've just said, but that could be deemed as taking away their human rights, knowing there's some of these socialist people. Yeah, so I'm telling you what I see. Um, the kid starts complaining and reports and all sorts of things. Yeah, I don't think it's as easy as that. I'll put the parent in prison. I agree with you. I
Yeah,
know what you're saying.
it isn't easy to bring up children,
Yes.
but if you do it the sensible way, it is.
Yeah. But I mean, and unfortunately now, in a lot of these cases with vulnerability, you're talking about single parent families where the remaining partner probably working 2 jobs, 14 hours a day. Yeah, the kids more or less surviving.
There are plenty of them that do a really good job bringing up the kids.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that. I'm not saying that,
Oh,
but
well,
I'm
it's not
throwing
an
things at.
excuse. It isn't an excuse.
No? Okay. Well, yeah, but it's yeah. I mean, I'm not saying single parents are responsible for all the ills in the world. I'm saying you have got to look at possible reasons why a kid will turn into that lifestyle, why they will be turned by it, and it could even be something as simple as the glamour of it. So you could get a good middle class kid who's suddenly offered a glamorous life, and just remember yeah, and
They don't.
to
They
be
don't. They
someone.
don't. It's because they don't get looked at by their parents. And when I say looked at, I don't mean just to be um, chastised or to be. controlled. I'm talking about the parents paying attention to them,
Well, yeah,
giving them the attention that they need. If they have the attention at home, they don't need to feel wanted from a gang
yeah, I
because they've
know.
got it at home.
Well, agreed. Yeah, I mean,
There you are.
kids don't want constant attention, but yes, yes, but the trouble is they go in their rooms, they shut the door, on goes either the laptop if they got money or the mobile phone, and yeah, you don't know what they're doing. Um, and it's yes, we are living in a different world now. Um, as I sort of say, maybe there should be a way that I would have thought the simple thing is if you've got the Wi-Fi, you should be able to disable a particular appliance after a certain time at night. Yeah, it can't be that difficult to do it. You know, the parents should be able to go on there. Mind you, the trouble is a lot of this technology now, the kids know about it more than the parents do sometimes. Um, you and I, we know how to turn on a computer and we know how to use it, so we've managed to do this. There are people of our age who can't even manage that. Yeah. Now that's not to put them down. They're normally skilled in other things as well. Anyway, but it's yes, as you said, bringing up kids is difficult. Um, my father grew up in the East End of London. You know, there was some ruffians there where I grew up. There were some bad and kids always around before we got into our modern era. We were getting involved in things, be it petty theft, be it stealing from shops or doing other things. So, and they came from good middle class families. Um, I don't often think, yeah, that's, I don't think you can tick box and say this, and this. Um, and why do people get involved in organized crime at any age? And it normally starts quite young, and it always has. Um, when you watch some gangster films and everything else, they show the kid getting involved. Yes, that does happen. That happens in London. That happens in Manchester. That happens in Birmingham. It probably happens in Stockholm or Oslo as well. Um, and it could start with something as simple as petty theft. Um, if a kid's already been in trouble with the police, that they're found on these gaming sites, as you say, yeah, they're vulnerable. Um, and it's like you say, they're probably not held accountable, but it's known that they did a petty theft. It probably gets known in the neighbourhood, and somebody targets them. These
I
people are
think I think
sophisticated gangs. Yeah,
I think the parents found something that the kids like to do, an activity. When I was a youngster, I was part of the lads brigade. I was a Speedway fan and went to Speedway once a week. Um, and so I had an out of school interests as well,
yeah.
right? And so you know, if you just ignore your kids and let them get on with it,
Well,
they're
that
gonna go down a really
yeah.
wobbly, windy street, and they
Well,
could slip off.
well, I mean, again, this is a problem. I mean, kids come home, they race to their room, they put the game machine on. Um, the restriction could be you've got to do your homework first, and that's it. And then they go online, and when they're playing, yes, they are talking as well. When they're gaming, they're talking and they're saying, "Shoot,
Well,
shoot, shoot." Yeah,
when I was a kid, my mother she used to give us spelling tests and
mm,
things like that, and snakes and ladders and Ludo, and
mm,
and that's what we did as kids, to pass the time on a Sunday, especially on a Sunday. Sunday was
yeah,
boring, uh, except for the Blackstone boys for some reason, but that's another story.
yeah. But
Um,
yeah, okay. I mean, there used to be Boy Scouts, but again,
yeah, I was
that-
lads brigade.
that's
Yeah,
brigade, yeah, Boys Brigade, Scouts, church groups, dare I say it?
yeah.
Um, um, yeah, and other things. Yes, we had an outside. Effectively, if we wanted to do something different, we went outside, be it on a bike. We met as a gang of groups, a group of lads. When probably, I mean, some people used to get into trouble. Don't forget, just by meeting up sometimes. But I never did. We used to meet up, used to go cycle rides or wherever else we went to, football, and or wherever. But it yeah, we had a very, very different thing. Yeah, across the road world now, it's this gaming that has taken over. Um, Gaming in
Very
itself,
isolated.
yeah. And yes, you're in that mindset, and I agree with you. You know, I mean, as I've often said before, it's really great when I walk across the local park and I see kids from our local communities, either favelas or wherever, all meeting together in a park. They got a ghetto blaster going or a beatbox or something, you know, probably playing American gangster music, black gangster music. But yeah, they're pretty harmless and they're having a good time and they're exercising. Yeah, they're showing off to each other. Um, these are kids who got nothing. They probably can't afford a gaming PC. Um, but yeah, it's as you quite rightly said, yeah, it's occupying kids, and that's always been the problem with keeping kids out of trouble. I mean girls as well, not just boys. I mean girls will be recruited for different things as well. That's what they've had problems with in the UK. And vulnerable youngsters in general. Um, and like I say, I mean, to me, across Europe, it's been this problem of these progressives have stopped the parents being able to actually control the kids.